those mine?
Yes.
Woo! Morning, everybody. Chad and Ray.
Good morning.
Adler Farms. The wind's blowing, so if we're gonna hear Ray, we gotta be like this. So if you guys have been following along, look at that sky. That's pretty. If you guys have been following along, we got a big project going on the pond, and then something else to show you as well that we worked into the pond deal. Huge thanks to Jared and Jane for all their help. That's our dozer operator. It's going amazing. Here's the deal. There's a red flag warning today and tomorrow. It's blowing in rain. So I don't think you're gonna be able to hear us very much up here. So wait until we get to the bottom of the hill to talk to you guys a little bit. But enjoy the alpacas with this beautiful wind in the background.
Thankfully, it's like 65 degrees out here. Otherwise, I would.
It is 65.
Freezing.
Yep. This is pretty much like there's no grass in Oklahoma, in case you guys didn't know. Not in Northeast Oklahoma. They've got good hay, which came off of our farm, and of course this grain, which we have more than enough of. So it's just how it is. Helped you get spiders out of your boots this morning, and then you fed them my donut holes.
The spiders were your fault, so that's what you get.
It's my fault. I left your boots in the garage.
You put them in the garage.
Where did you want them?
You didn't even bring them in the house. They were brand new.
The shoe rack is overflowing.
They were brand new boots. You could have brought them in.
This right here just blows my mind. That's the biggest transformation for me so far. I think the pond will be when it's done, but then it'll be like the collective back 10 acres. Guys, it is so... You like my dash cam cord in your face? It's okay. It is so windy. We'll get out here in a second and show you some stuff, but if we try and walk around and talk, it's not gonna work. But look at this hill right here. So this hill...
That Kyle made a pass through. You remember when he was...
That was just west of the coop and the greenhouse.
And he like went right down the middle of it, but it's the one that was like, it was massive.
I would say it was probably the biggest one on the farm.
Yeah.
The one up front looked big, but it's because it was on the highest point of the farm. But as far as like surface area and volume of dirt or earth, this was the biggest hill. I mean, we couldn't even really see the back of the property because of this hill. Kind of felt like there were two different pieces of land, and we had a narrow, what was that, just wide enough for my truck to drive through. And then once you got back here where the old boy brush hogged, Johnny, how's it going, buddy, if you still watch? When you got back here after he brush hogged, it was like a new piece of land. But now it's like one giant collective.
Yeah, we still had hills everywhere, which we still
Yeah.
do. He only knocked down the biggest one. He's not even close to being done, and it already looks amazing, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, we can't thank Jared and Jane enough. And Jared, it's not even a level of perfectionism. I would call it that good old country boy, I'm getting paid to do something, so I'm gonna do it right. And he just full send, he doesn't quit.
We were out here last night until we couldn't see anymore. It was so dark.
He had a tire go flat on, I don't know the proper term of that thing, but International, he's got the huge one with the giant, what I think is a box blade on the back of it. He had a tire go flat, so he was basically dragging it. So he left. He had to go to a tire shop almost 40 minutes away and come back. And when he got here, he still put in, I mean, he worked until, shoot, 7, and the sun set at 6:40. So he worked into the dark as long as he could. He even let me drive. Ray didn't see it though, but I was awesome. It's just amazing. We're gonna get out and show you. And at the end of this video, just like the other one, we have all the footage of him working and like before and afters and stuff like that. So even though you can't hear us, when we get out here in a minute, you'll be able to see everything. But what's so efficient and what we appreciate so much about Jared, he's got a plan, and I'm gonna go talk to you and probably yell while we discuss how the pond's gonna look, because some of you guys are confused because he cut the pond in half. He gets what he needs done on one side of the pond, and while it's drying out, he goes and levels land. And then after it's dried out, he comes back and updates the pond a little bit, pulls more, dredges more, if you will. He's dredging with that big box blade. Goes into, like, there's no downtime. He just keeps going. It's amazing. We couldn't be more pleased. So, and he's super efficient. So this used to be where we drove through, and there was like a fence on the left and a fence on the right. You could barely fit. And it's all gone. And the more he levels this, the further back you move the house, I've noticed. Which some of you guys have said, man, moving that house is going to cost more to run the electric. But the electric company, we don't need to go underground 400 or 500 feet to the house. Okay, they'll come out and put a pole up. And if we want, they'll stick a pole as close as we want to the house and then run it underground. We could only run it underground 10 feet. We can do whatever we want. Where the electric has made it to already, where it currently sits, there's really good soil back here to anywhere we want to go. So it's literally just dirt. So we're very pleased about that. Is that a cow way up? It is, it's one of the Burger Bros. But super excited. As far as water goes, it's not that big of a deal either, because we've already run 2-inch 800 feet. We've got enough 2-inch to run it another couple hundred feet, and then we can do, I think we bought inch to go into the house. Yeah, we've never been able to see that far. When you're back here, it's like 2 different pieces of property. Morning. By the way, it's really funny because, like, we've noticed now, we've like trained the cows to the noise of a chainsaw. When they hear the chainsaw, they come running because they know they're gonna get leaves. And now when they hear Jared's dozer, they come running. So like last night, when Jared would knock a tree down, I would have to go get the tree and like separate it from the pile he was working on, because the cows would, without fear, stand right beside the dozer while he's working and eat leaves. 518. Woo! That's he. Yeah, he'll come back here and he'll make a pass. This wasn't brush hogged because there's mounds of dirt under there. And the guy that brush hogged for us was kind of worried what was in there, but with Jared's dozer, it's no big deal at all. Excuse me. Excuse me. Morning, buddy. Man, look at all the leaves that have come off with all the wind we've had, though. This is fall. Enjoy it, because it's going to be 30 here pretty quick.
It already has been.
It's incredible to see up there. Sorry for the view from the truck, guys, but if we get out, you won't be able to hear anything, whether we have mics or not. And we don't believe in mics on this channel. Speaking of mics, though, did you know that a couple days ago, my dad filmed an entire vlog and then got back inside and his mic wasn't plugged in? Yeah, that's frustrating. That's why I don't use a mic. And I'm hard-headed, but that's mostly the reason. We've never been able to see this far. So normally when you stand back here, you can't see the coop, you can barely see the cabin. Because even this pile right here was probably, what, 10 feet tall?
Yeah.
So unless you're 10 feet tall, you can't see it. This is the top of the pile that used to stand here. But this is how high this is. You can see the gate. Holy cow. I mean, it's like, it's a whole different piece of land. I'm standing on dirt that's still probably 10 feet high. Before we bought this land, the first auction I took her to, back in February when we came out here, or when we were coming home, I told her, I was like, Oklahoma sunsets are different, like amazingly good different. Now, where I grew up with mom and dad, there's beautiful views, things like that. Built the one you guys know probably 3 years ago, and they literally like burrowed into a forest and built a house. So you can't see the sunrise or the sunset, but it's gorgeous, as you know. It's just where they built the house, you can't see it. But really where mom and dad live, where I grew up, there's a lot more hills and you can't really see the sunset. Or if you do, you've got to drive a ways to see it. But out here with the lay of this land and how it slopes, it's just, it's amazing. Just amazing. I can't believe I tried to talk you into moving to Missouri. Like, who wants to live in Missouri now?
Yeah, that was never gonna happen.
All right, we're gonna show you the pond and we're gonna yell, or at least I'm gonna yell. And I'll explain, because some of you guys were confused that he was making 2 different ponds, which he's not doing. I don't know if this is what they do with like every pond build, but this is the plan Jared came up with because we have that peninsula. Worked out great so far, and we have really good news. As far as we can tell, we know one side of the pond plus the peninsula have really good red clay bottoms. Like, he's driving his D8 Cat down there, which is 80,000 pounds, and the bottom is solid. That is perfect. That's what you want. We're very grateful for that. Hey, I'm sitting where there used to be a fence, aren't I? It was crazy. You'll see the footage where he took out the fence, and then like Ray comes running down the hill just giddy with glee because she wanted that fence out from like day one. Like, I'd come out here and cut down 10 dead trees and save lives, and she'd come out and she'd go, the fence is still there. Not true. That's not what she says.
It was only like
Maybe 60.
How big was that?
60 feet.
Not big at all, but it was overgrown with all the vines and the nasty and the everything that I want to brush hog and get out of here so badly, but you can't because it was wrapped up in fence and all sorts of stuff, and he took it out and it made the biggest difference. Like, he could level all these hills, but as soon as he took out whatever was right here next to the pond, oh my gosh, that made a huge difference.
Just opened it up. They had cross fencing for some reason, and I'm sure it served a purpose at one point, but the multiflora rosa stuff that you guys said we had out here, the blackberries and the honeysuckle,
it's everywhere.
It had grown up on these cross fences. The field fence is what it was. And granted, the field fence is only 4 feet high, but the brush would grow to like 8 feet over the top of the fence.
That's what you said, like the mounds of dirt and the piles are like 10 feet. But on top of that, we had the vines and the brush, and there was actually trees growing out of the top of these mounds, so they were even taller. That's why.
Yeah, like one of the piles he took out was probably only 8 feet high, but it had like a 12-foot oak growing out of it. But we couldn't save it because the root ball would have been 4 feet in the air, like above ground level. There was no way to like backfill around it and make it like a level pad. It was crazy.
That's everything. That's just what I think makes the property look gross and what I've wanted taken care of for so long.
And it's not like the previous owners or even the owners before them. It's not like they were like, hey, let's let this sit and overgrow. It was never just let go. It wasn't ignored. They just bought it. They had a plan for it. Plans changed, and then of course we came along, and we're very grateful and very blessed. And I think when the previous owners bought it, hey guys, I think when they bought it, I don't think it could have been overgrown. There's no way, because they wouldn't have been able to do what was going on out here before that safely. I think they bought it and had plans, and but God had plans for all of us, and that's all that matters. We're very grateful. It's like Jared, the dozer man. I'll tell you guys his story, how we came to terms and an agreement on a budget and a project later, because he's probably going to be in 3 or 4 more videos. I try not to slow his roll. We both do. We try not to slow his roll while he's out here. Like, he'll be driving along in his tractor and I'll see a tire, and of course we don't want to bury tires. That's why you see piles out here. When he's done, we'll get rid of them, haul them off, or I may make a pow range with some tires. But done and everything, we'll walk around and look at it, and we'll make sure you guys get his information. So I was actually kidding with him last night, and I said, man, if we just pop your phone number in there, you might get random calls from like people in Florida, not realizing we're in Oklahoma. And you know, you can't really charge, like, what do you charge to go down there? And he kind of laughingly was like, I go down to Florida and work for the right price. But it's really, really hard, and it truly is a talent to take what's in this beautiful mind, be somebody like Jared, and have a machine that could change the face of the property, but yet be diligent enough to hear out what Ray may want. It's a real talent. It's not just a dozer operator, it's a talent. So anyway, email me if you're local and you want his information now. Otherwise, 3 or 4 videos when we wrap this up, we'll actually chat with him a little bit. Wow. So this is the most incredible part for me. That fence, actually there's the pole right there. The fence used to be right there. And run right along here, and we had a narrow alley. This was like a leach field because the old septic's right below that pine tree. But yeah, we couldn't see any of this. I did a great job parking my truck right in the middle of the view. We've never seen this. We actually didn't even see it. It was too dark last night when he was working to even grasp what had changed. So you guys are kind of seeing this with us the first time. But this used to be really tall grass, and the bank used to literally almost dump you in the pond. And he's graded it, made it real pretty. Man, my head is just, why is my head so big?
Because it is.
Thank you. But I know. And his game plan from the beginning was to shove that peninsula into the current dam, which became basically a beaver den, a safe haven. So he shoved the peninsula straight forward, cutting the pond in half. So that is still the peninsula. This is the pond that was on the left. It was a little bit smaller. So this was the peninsula, okay? He took all the dirt from the peninsula. This was the edge of it. And he shoved it into the beaver dam. Took care of Wally's house, all that stuff, which by the way, we've seen hide nor hair of Wally. But he shoved it all up in there and built you'll see in the videos here in a minute, this was actually a solid wall. And he dug this, that gets deep quick. He actually warned us, that's like probably 12 feet deep. I know when his dozer's in there, you can't see the dozer when it's down in that hole. That's how tall that is. So he let all the water into here, essentially drained and dredged this. He got all the way down to the red clay bottom. All right, we were just over there. Sorry for the time hop. Now we're on top of what used to be our old dam. This is all dirt from the peninsula. This is probably 12 feet higher than the dam used to be. This is all the sledge and muck and gross and poop and all that stuff from inside that pond. Wally used to live right here, man. I mean, his house is gone. He's gone. He's gone, he's gone. He crushed the holes, crushed it all, and then of course filled it with this red dirt. So it's a fresh start. It's literally starting over. There's still a couple remnants, or there's still a couple places of evidence where Wally used to reside. That hole right there runs down there. He'll fix that side when he gets this cleaned up. But I bring you over here to show you we're not making 2 separate ponds, okay? He cut it in half because it's a pretty sizable pond and there was a peninsula, so it was the most efficient way to do it. He cut it in half. He's gonna clean up that side after the water settles down, and then he'll drain the middle, and then, man, I hope you guys can hear me. He'll drain the middle, he'll build, let's see, where's it at? He'll cut a little hole in his dam up there. He'll let all this drain into there, and then he'll dredge this side and push it all over here. I'm gonna show you the spillway in a minute. He'll grade these banks, which they're not bad, but he's gonna take care of them. He's gonna make them smoother. I'm yelling, guys, sorry, but I don't believe there's a mic. We cover this wind noise today, guys, I'm sorry. But he's going to drain that, dredge this, and when he dredges this, he's gonna drag it up over here. And yes, where I cut that giant tree down and it was super dangerous, that's where it was right there. This is the overflow that we used to not be able to see anything. I mean, it's crazy. And he's cleared all this out because we told him we wanted to be able to mow it. And he's gonna make it real pretty to where it's not just a drastic drop. Because right now, if I step forward, it's a pretty good, like you're not gonna catch yourself, you're gonna fall down. But this is our overflow, and it goes back to a creek back there that runs along our neighbor's, actually our joint fence. But it's an incredible transformation. This used to be like 8-foot high grass. I mean, it looked like this everywhere. You guys have never seen this. I didn't even come in here. It was so overgrown. But all those black willows are gone. A few of those oaks that had grown up like on mounds, which I think we're gonna try and get him to save some of these. There's a pretty significant mound and hill of dirt right there. But that is a good looking oak tree. But was the trees that are on the outside, like, 10 yards from the fence, we want those trees left alone because that's our privacy, if you will. Makes it look like it's more secluded. It's so crazy about Jared, and what's been so incredible to watch when he's working, like as he works. Here, let me get back to the truck, hang on. How's my beard look?
Wind blown.
So I'll pick up where I left off. What's so crazy about Jared? Hi, Ray. Welcome back. I was only over there for like a minute. I feel like I've been fighting for 30 minutes. What I like most about Jared, what was so cool when he cleaned the property up front, is he was leveling it out. And I said this in the last video, but I must have edited it out because it got real windy on us. He was leveling it and smoothing it out. And I was like, man, that looks amazing. And then I had to leave to go get Case from school, and figured he was almost done with the front of the property. And it was still, I mean, it looked great. It looked amazing. But I came back and it was like golf course smooth. I mean, just amazing. And by the way, we are going to plant seed. You can't, it's going to get too cold. Nothing's going to grow right now, but we will do it. Now I think we're going to let you guys watch some clips. This isn't the end of the video, but it is the end of the video, just like last time. And you need to stick around, because if you want to see a bunch of before and afters and progress and things like that with a little rock music and a good old boy named Jared just driving, it's like an extension of his arm when he's in these things. Like, he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So stick around, guys. It's going to get a lot more fun. You want to say anything? Okay. All right. Y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Don't make it weird. Thanks for being here, but don't leave. It's not over. God bless. Deuces. See you guys. shoes are gone. The shoes are in there.
I had to get the shot.
I got it. They saved our little Bradford pear. Everybody told us to chop down.
Snake! Oh, going full!
Where? Where? He's all right. He's all right. He's fat.